But you better pay attention, because he's usually right, my dear. But that's the fable of Sam, with his crop of white hair, and an Adonis body that's the envy of guys you could not compare. I'm proud that he's my brother. He'll always be special to me, for it matters not how old he is. He's tops on my family tree. All my love, Anna.
Hi, I'm speaking on behalf of Lynn, Laura, and myself, also known as the Manor Girls. Our dad was born in Brooklyn in 1932. His parents both passed away by the time he was 3 years old. His aunt and uncle, who didn't want the kids to be separated, adopted him and his sisters Anne and Irma. Our dad had such respect and admiration for his aunt and uncle. They didn't have children of their own, but to take all of them in during the 1930s, this just amazed him. Our dad grew up an incredibly hard worker, and as he got older, after his aunt and uncle passed on, he played just as hard as he worked. And sometimes he got carried away. He would always tell us about the time he was driving home after a late night out, the little blanks there, where he fell asleep behind the wheel and crashed into a utility pole. It had come crashing down on his car, and no one could believe he survived. It turns out that the time of the crash was the same time his uncle had passed away exactly 1 year earlier. My dad had always felt that surviving that crash was a wake-up call from his uncle to get it together and you'll be okay. Fast forward, working multiple jobs at a time and taking college classes at night, to being married with 3 kids of his own. Our dad was an incredibly hardworking and successful stockbroker, a business that he loved. He worked hard, and again he played hard, but this time it was with us kids, just being fun and silly. Whether it was putting fake ice cubes with ants in them in our drinks, to at bedtime putting on a scary mask and peeking his head in our rooms, to be followed by screams and laughter, he was always doing things to make us laugh. Then our world came crashing down when our mom, Carolyn, passed away. Lynn was 18, Laura 14, and I was 13. Dad losing his wife and us losing our mother at such a young age led us to become even more close with our dad. He did as best he could to act as both mother and father to us. As he would say, he was wearing both hats. He took that whole summer off from work just to be with us. We have many cherished memories of our dad, but some of the things we will think of often and miss the most are his riddles that he always told the wrong way, throwing food at us from across the table at restaurants and weddings just to make us laugh, showing us every menu he saved from decades ago, singing and dancing in the kitchen when you didn't know we were recording you, watching old movies where you always wanted to tell us the ending, or watching really stupid shows like Sharknado, or any movie with inappropriate bathroom humor that would have him laughing in hysterics, which was the best laugh ever. How you get us involved in football? By telling us the background story of who you were rooting for. You knew it was the only way to get 3 girls interested in watching the game. Although we really would just watch, it would be mostly to hear you scream and curse at the TV. Dad, you will be missed by many. Your nephew Gene will miss your phone calls. He called you all the time to talk about the game, especially. Your niece Beth will miss all your advice. Our Aunt Fran, your companion for 25 years, will miss your morning calls, date nights, and frequent trips to Costco. Costco will certainly miss you. Although they might not miss your returning 10-year-old TVs. Your loving grandchildren, Sydney and Toby, will miss their pop-up terribly, but will carry with them all the love he felt for them, and they will surely remember pop-up covered in powdered sugar from funnel cakes. from the Oyster Fest. Oyster Bay will miss seeing Sam 4 driving around town. We were always alerted of the Sam 4 spottings. And to finally wrap up, Dad, we will miss you beyond words. The day after you passed, a utility pole came down at the top of our street. We are sure that was you crashing on your way up to heaven. We believe that was your way of letting us know that we will be okay, and that you will keep singing and dancing and laughing in heaven, and especially in our hearts. We love you, Dad.